Crushing the meta.
Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today we're here for you guys to talk about the Zeroth Dragons. So 4 of them are revealed, and because of that we wanted to make a video to talk about them. But actually the reason why I really wanted to make the video is because of the Spike Brother support or the Zeroth Dragon from the Dark Nation. But yeah, in this video we're gonna talk about all of them, or the ones that are revealed, and talk about the clans that they could use in and their skills and how good they are. So there's a lot to know about the Zeroth Dragon, about their skills, and about where they came from. But most importantly, they are created by Gize to destroy Messiah, or to bring destruction to the world, and to maybe bring him back. So we have, as I said, 6 Zeroth Dragons, of course, because we have 6 nations. We have Ultima from the United Sanctuary. We have Drachma from Dragon Empire. We have Stark, which is a pretty cool name, from the Stargate. Dust from the Dark Zone. And Megiddo from the Mega Lenika. And Zoa from Zoo. So it's really nice that they used the first letter from the nation to use it in their name, and I really like their name. I think they're pretty very nice. And as you can see from the picture right here, where Chrono have to fight against the Zeroth Dragons. So the ones that are revealed in this video that we have right now are, of course, the one from the Mega Lenika, so Megiddo, Zoa, Dust, which the skill is not really known yet because we have seen it in the episode, so spoiler alert. And of course a Drachma. If you haven't seen the Z0 yet, series yet, and you really don't want any spoilers, then I would advise you to stop this video. But if you don't mind, then it's alright. And of course we have the one from the United Sanctuary and from the Stargate, which are not yet known. So first, let's talk about Zoa. All of these Zeroth Dragons have something in common, which is, of course, when you want to stride into them, you have to discard a card which has the same card name as your Vanguard, even being grade 2, which there are cases in card from Vanguard that you can, your Vanguard grade could get from grade 3 back to grade 2, so you could stride using a grade 2 which has the same card name as the grade 2 you have on your Vanguard. But to do that, you do need 3 or more cards face up in your G-Zone, and if you lose, then your whole G-Zone would be removed from play. So you have no GB left, and your GB skill will not work, and you can't stride anymore or G-Guard or anything. We have talked about this, of course, before. And also the skills of these Zeroth Dragons are mostly, or till now, I think all of them will be the same, is a counterblast of 2. And when they're placed, the skill goes off. So, the skill of Zoa. Also important that they have 25k as attack, so if your Vanguard is 10k or 11k, they could attack for 35 or 36 and not 26 and 25. So that's also very important. So there are 10k more, which could mean a 10k more shield for your opponent if they are using a G-Guardian or just normal guarding, not a perfect guard. Zoa's skill is a counterblast of 2. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card and choose a card from your hand, call it to the Vanguard circle, and that unit, or the unit that you called, gets 99k, and that power stays. So even if you boost it, you can't even put triggers on it, but yeah, the power stay 99k, and the unit cannot be targeted by effects or chosen by card effects. With card effects, that could also include triggers, so you can't use a stand trigger to re-stand that unit. And then when that unit attack hits, so when it does damage, so not only hitting, but it has to do damage, then your opponent loses. So let's recap. you draw a card. When this unit is placed, you draw a card, you call something from your hand, and that unit get 99k. And when that unit attack hits the Vanguard, your opponent Vanguard, and does damage to them, they lose the game. That's pretty much it. I mean, this card, is it good? Yeah, definitely. Is it broken? No, it's not. Why? Because the 99k is very strong, but we have seen a lot more. We have seen Dimension Police come with numbers that are crazy. We have seen Gilded Ray comes with numbers that are crazy. And you could still perfect guard that unit. You can't let it hit because you'll lose the game. So it's like it has a 10 crits on it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. When it hits it, you lose. So you have to perfect guard it or guard it with 2 or 3 G Guardians or just from cards from your hand. But it is possible to guard. We have seen that in the series and the anime, and we have also played this card on area and we have tested out, and you can't survive the turn. But if you combine it with like something like Great Nature to work with one column and have the other unit on the other column, because you can't target it, so you can't resend with Crayon Tiger, and you can't bloom it, so that doesn't work as well in the Neo Nectar. Dark Face or Mega Colony could use it, but you can't really boost the unit. The unit would stay at the same power. So I would say that the most Zeroth Dragons are made as a desperation move. Like when you really can't do anything and this is the only choice that you have, then you could go into him. But on the other hand, Zoa is also, if you know that your opponent doesn't have perfect guard or a lot of guards in hand, then this card is definitely good to just kill them off, even if they are at 1 damage. It doesn't matter. You could just attack with your finger to their interceptions and kill everything, and then attack with that unit, and if that attack hits, you win the game. So, this card is, in my opinion, very good. It's very nice designed, and it has the winning condition that actually some clans from the Zoo Nation really needed. But on the other hand, it doesn't really combine very well with some of them. So here I have a clip from the episode, from episode 9, from the Z series. As I said, spoilers. So to see Zoa in action. You discard a card with the same card name as your Vanguard, and then you can use this.
このファイトに敗北すればジェネレーションゾーンのカードは再び戻らぬ。我が未来を食らい権限せよ。2のゼロスドラゴンアルティメットストライド。
Look at that face.
支援のゼロスドラゴンゾア
Of Death Garden. Really good name, or well-made name. So the skill, you draw a card, spirit follow unit from your hand, and you give it the power. Well, of course, this is a very stupid move. Why call a Dark Face, which is very strong by his own skill? She could call the unit, which is just critical or draw trigger or anything. Be mighty. So she could have called just the Great One on this column. This is insane. He needed to guard everything with just cards from his hand. Look at that. 90k shield. 90k shield. So yeah, from there, I mean, he could have guarded the attack. If he had like 2 perfect guards, could have stopped that unit and could have stopped the Vanguard attack, and then he could go on. So yeah, Zoa, in my opinion, is a very good unit, but it's not broken. Then we go to Megiddo, so the one from the Megalonica, or the Water Clans, as I like to call them. Of course, he has the same stride effects, and from his own skills, of course, a Counterblast 2, as always. And then when this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost if you choose up to 5 cards in total from your hand and drop zone. Call them to separate Vanguard until end of turn they get 5k, and at the end of the battle, so the unit gets all of the unit that you call get the power or that skill, which is at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, choose one of your other Vanguards and you may exchange position with this unit. So it has a lot of the Aqua Force, which is the exchanging, the calling from the drop zone, the calling from your hand, of course it's from Bermuda Triangle, and when you call them you give them the skill which switch. So it's really nice that he calls from hand and drop. But really, this card in Grand Blue, in my opinion, doesn't really do much. I mean, Grand Blue already calls a lot from the drop zone, and calling from your hand, you can do that as well. I mean, in Spike Brothers, this could do much because you can call them from your hand and then you can make them charge. But with the Hollow ability, you can just call them and make them charge. Hollow, I mean. So that doesn't really matter a lot. But in Aqua Force, and even Bermuda Triangle, they could call units back from the drop zone, and that is devastating, especially for Aqua Force. I mean, that is so good. But is this card broken? Well, no, not really. Why? Because the Counterblast 2 is heavy, so in Aqua Force, but also in Grand Blue, that could be much, and also the multiple attacks, well, okay, they get an extra 5k, but that's it. I mean, they don't really get that much power. They could attack from they could switch, so it's like attacking from the back row. Okay, alright, then maybe you have like 6 attacks, and let's say you combine it with Aqua Force units and Grand Blue unit that could restand or retire and call more units. That could work, but is this card really broken? No, it's not. We have seen better strides than this, but it is a very, very good killer. But is the finisher? Well, as I said, like Soa, this card also is more of a desperation move. Why? Because the risks are too high. And if you really know that you could finish your opponent off using him, because your opponent like have only 4 or 5 cards in hand and they can't guard everything, and you really don't have a better stride. I mean, Gouch could also still be a better stride because he costs less and he could even give more power than 5k. But yeah, as I said, if you really don't have anything else to stride into, and this could be your best option, especially in Aqua Force, in Blue Wave, or even the Tavas. So yeah, let's see this card in action. So this was the first Zeroth Dragon that was shown, so this is the 3rd episode.
Megiddo.
Zeroth Dragon Megiddo.
What power? We didn't see anything. His spear only 5 units from the drop zone gave them the power, and they could switch.
Megiddoのスキル発動。アタック終了時に他のリアガードと位置を交換。
So they attack, they switch, and they get power. Of course, and you call them from the drop zone. It's pretty good skill. I can't say that it isn't. Then we have Drachma, which of course have the same effect, blah 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 blah, which is right, blah 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 blah. And then his own skill is of course the Counterblast 2. When this unit is placed, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire all of your opponent's units, bind them face up. Your opponent choose 3 cards from his or her hand and discard 2 and write 1 among them on the Vanguard as stand. So let's recap. When you stride into him, you cut +2, and so when it's placed, your opponent have to retire all of their units, including their Vanguard. While retiring the Vanguard, as the unit said, so your opponent would still have the same soul, but only their Vanguard will go to the drop zone. Of course, Drachma also bind the unit that it destroys or retire. So you retire all of your opponent's units, the soul stays, and you bind it. You bind all of those cards. And after that, they have to choose 3 cards from their hand, discard 2 and write 1. So how is this card good? Well, it is very good, because from the other cards that there were more of a desperation move, Drachma, Zoa also, it depends on your opponent's hand. Like, if you know that they really don't have a grade 3, but they have a lot of G-guards, then Drachma would be a killer. Because let's say they have to discard 2 cards and write the 3rd, because the one card that they write will come from their hand, and if they don't have a grade 3 in hand, then they can't guard with G-Guardians anymore. Also, the power will drop. Let's say if they have to write a grade 1, which is a 6k or a 7k in most situations, so their power will drop as well. And you have already let them discard 3 cards. So let's say that your opponent have like 6 cards in hand. 6 cards in hand is an okay number, having 2 G-Guards in hand and a perfect guard. When you use Drachma, they would have to discard 3. So that would mean that they have 3 cards left in hand, and one of the cards that they discarded, that they wrote, should at least be a grade 3, so they could use their G-Guardians. I really like this card, the art and also their skill. Same with Zoa. I'm not really that impressed with Megiddo. I don't know that he is very good, but believe me, I think Drachma is better, or the best of the 3. So let's see a clip when the Drachma is used. So of course, discard a card with the same card name as your Vanguard, and you can ultimate strike.
俺の未来をかけて勝負だ。敗北すれば G ゾーンのカードは二度と戻らない。ま、敗北なんてするはずないんだけどな。
どういう意味だ。
こういうことさ。我が未来を喰らい権限せよ。ドラゴンエンパイアのゼロスドラゴン。アルティメットストライダー。極限のゼロスドラゴン。 ドラクマ
Godzilla.
これがゼロスドラゴン。
スキル発動。相手のユニット全てを退却させバインド。ヴァンガードもだ。
なんだと。
It's really insane. Because if you think about the meta right now, or in general the last year or 2, it's crazy that a lot of decks like Gear Chronicle, like Blue Ward, plays really not that much grade 3s. So like 6, sometimes even 5, and that's insane. When you retire the Vanguard and they don't have a grade 3 in hand, you're pretty much screwed. He calls everything of course and he will attack. It's really nice that he also pulls the perfect one. I mean, why would you keep it? He can't G-guard, so he has to use his heals. So yeah, Drachma, in my opinion, one of the best Zeroth Dragons. And now we come to the one that is insane. Because if we go back to Drachma, and we talk about him, like in Narukami and Kagero, Narukami could really use him good because he bind cards from the field. You retire them and bind them. So your rear guards, some of your units will get more power and they get their skills off. In Kagero, it's the same. When you retire your whole field of your opponent, some units get power when something gets retired, and also some units get power for every open rear guard circle your opponent have. So that's also pretty good. Then we have let's say Nubutama, which could also work because some of the units from Nubutama work when you have more cards than your opponent, and some of them work when you have less cards than your opponent. So you can balance your deck around that. But most of them work around your opponent having more cards than you. So Drachma actually work against Nubutama, but it's really nice to have the option to retire the opponent field, which Nubutama doesn't have. For Murakumo it's the same. So I think that it is for the Dragon Empire. This card is really good, but it's not broken. But when we come to Dust, Zeroth Dragon of the word Dust. This card is not balanced. This card is insane. By far the strongest Z Dragon till now, and I think ever. But yeah, when you come to the Dark Zone, you have 4 clans. You have Pale Moon, Dark Irregular, Spike Brothers, and Gear Chronicle, which doesn't fit there, but we'll not talk about that. So these 4 dragons, clans. Dust's skill is, of course, the same blah 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 before, and then his own skill is Counterblast 2 on place. This is the skill that we got from the episode, so his Bushiroad didn't yet give us the whole skill. So it's a Counterblast of 2 on place. All of your opponent units lose their abilities. Damn. So every defensive clan will lose their ability. Everything that said you can't intercept or you can't attack or this or that, all of them, all of the skills, of course, of the units on the field, he doesn't really negate the skill of a perfect guard from their hand. That doesn't work like that. But so all of their skills or abilities are lost, and then their grade and their power becomes 1. That's insane. That would mean that your opponent can't G-guard because their grade is 1. They can't guard with grade 2s. They can't intercept with the grade 2s. And their power also become 1. So it's like deleting their Vanguard. I mean, okay, deleting is 0, but now they become 1. But most of the skills that we have right now, or our decks, are made to make the 11, 16k, 21 columns. So the 1 doesn't really make a big difference. But their grade and their power become 1. Wow. But that's not all. Also, he does give your opponent a damage. Which I think that it doesn't work if your opponent have like 5 damage. Because otherwise they maybe should have shown that in the episode. But yeah, I think it works when they have 4 or less damage, so they could take the 5th damage, but not the 6th. But this is insane. Why is this insane? Why is their power becoming a 1, and their grade becoming 1, and losing their abilities so good? Because we're talking about the Dark Zone right here, guys. We're talking about the Dark Zone. We're talking about the most multi-clans out there. Like, you're talking about Pale Moon, which could do a lot of attacks if their deck is made on that. You're talking about Spike Brothers. Do you know how good this card is in Spike Brothers? I mean, this card could be so abused in Spike Brothers. It's like the GBA. It's like your units are getting an extra 10k or 15k with every attack, but you're making multiple attacks, and your opponent cannot G-guard. Oh, and on the top of that, they will get a damage, which I don't know if they get a trigger that would be nullified. I don't think so, because they would also have shown that in the episode, but they didn't. So I think the damage works like that. When your opponent have or has 4 or less damage, you can do them 1 damage, and if they get triggers, that trigger would work. It's not nullified. But yeah, so talking about Pale Moon, talking about Spike Brothers, they could abuse this card a lot. But even Gear Chronicle, I mean, let's take a look back at Time Leap, at History Maker, and Melem. I mean, okay, the Counterblast 2 could be heavy in some decks, like in Spike and in Gears, if you want to use the whole History Maker combo, but it's still, I mean, damn. Also, let's not forget the Dark Irregulars. If you play this card in Charlotte, and I like playing 8 stands in my Charlotte deck, you have your Charlotte as a rare guard, which attacks for 16k, and your opponent cannot use grade 0s. and you have a new unit in Dark Regulars, which is a grade 2, which also get an extra 10k, and your opponent cannot guard with grade 0s. I mean, this is insane. That would mean that your opponent have to use a lot of their perfect guards to stop your attacks. But yeah, I mean, this card is broken with Enigma Assassin. You can still call it. I mean, even if Enigma attacks for 10k, that still is 10k guard for your opponent. It's insane. I mean, this card is really insane. Is it balanced? No, it's not. Is it really that good? Yes, this card is overpowered. It's the definition of OP. Why? Because you're giving this to clans that do multiple attack. You're giving a Spike Runner a unit that said you can delete your opponent's Vanguard because it loses their ability and it becomes 1. Also, your opponent cannot use G-Guardians. Perfect, so you're also giving us a Stillwater effect. Oh, yeah, and on top of that, your opponent gets a damage. An extra damage, Stillwater skill, and so they can't G-Guard, and their power is 1. Insanely good. So let's see the clip that this card is used. So Dust, which is on the 12th episode.
あなたはギーゼ様としてこの世に降臨し、その手でもたらすのは世界の待望する破壊と滅亡。我が未来を喰らい権限せよ。
They really didn't show how big this card is on the dragon like they did with Drachma. I thought the animation on Drachma was really nice. Also on Zoa when they showed him like how big it is. But on Dust you don't really see how big this card is. But the art is of course insanely good.
あなた方のすべてのユニット全能力を失いグレードとパワーが1に。何？
So no abilities. The grades become 1, the power is 1. Guard intercept, you can't use grade 2s.
インターセプトもジェネレーションガードも使えない。さらにヴァンガードに1ダメ。
He gives 1 damage. It's really bonus after bonus. It's like giving us too much.
なんてことない。続けろ。けど続けろ。あ、息吹。
I think by far the strongest that are. I mean, I'm still waiting for the one from the Ninja Damage Police and Nova Grapplers because that one could be very interesting as well to like have restanding, like having some units that could restand, like in the Dimension Police and the Nova Grappler, like having a Z Dragon that could restand, but also combine it well with Link Joker. I really want to see what the skill of that card is. But yeah, so that was actually it. As you can see right here, 4 of them were revealed and 2 of them are yet to know. Also, the one from the United Sanctuary is also very interesting because could it work around luck? Is this card the savior for Oracle Think Tank and Genesis and everything that want to play against Link Joker? Well, I hope so. And also, how could you make a stride which could work very good in Paladin clans, but at the same time work good in Oracle Think Tank and Genesis and Angel Feather? Is it calling from the Damage Zone, maybe Damage Zone Soul like Fenrir does, and from your deck that could work, something like that? So yeah, I really want to know that skill, and of course the one from the Stargate is also, as I said, very interesting to see how Locke could work with him, and how the restanding clans could work with him. So thanks for watching, guys. This was a video to talk. Actually, I wanted to make the video to talk only about Dust, but yeah, at the same time I also wanted to compare him with the other 3. But Dust, oh Dust, oh Dust. I mean, Bushi, sorry that I'm saying this, but I think that you fucked up. Again, giving units or clans that do multiple attack, giving them a unit like this, it's insane. It's insane. Remember guys, this is Stillwater with deleting the Vanguard and also giving them 1/1 damage. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, until next time.